this computer. Yes. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to season 3, episode 5 of Tub Talks. Just super quick, it's very important to note that I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This is Treaty 6 territory. And we have today my new friend Tyler Bancroft coming to us from Vancouver. Is that correct?
Hello. Yeah, great to be here. Vancouver, also the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish Nation.
Very good. Very good to know. Tyler Bancroft is actually somebody who I've seen on the stages for like 10 years, like actually 10 years. And I'm 26. I just turned 26. So that means you were amongst the first concerts I was going to was to go see Tyler's band, Said the Whale. And this
That's
is
an honor. Thank you.
yeah, well, it's kind of funny now. We're in a pandemic, and I'm talking to you from my bathtub.
I'm
Um,
sorry that I'm not in a bathtub, by the way.
that is
Um,
okay. I feel like we scare away guests by telling them, "Hey, you should come join Tub Talks," and people are like, "I don't want to be in a bathtub and talk."
to be honest, it doesn't look like you're in a bathtub until you say you're in a bathtub. You sort
Bathtub.
of look like you're just in like a reading nook. And then now that you say you're in a bathtub, I realize that I do see the faucet and I see the hose. But your bathtub looks like it's in the middle of your living room, sort of.
It's kind of like that, definitely. But my knees fall asleep, so it's a bathtub. I used to put water
Okay.
in it, but then I realized, kind of to no effect. It didn't really help anybody. It just made me wet and cold.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I gave up on it. Anyway, let's first and foremost, I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan for a really long time of
Thank you.
the Whale, and that's super super cool that that we're even talking like this right now. I think you're one of few Tub Talks guests I haven't had the pleasure of knowing in person before, but I actually did dig up a picture of Tyler and I from, I think it's 9 or 10 years ago. I'm 16 or 17 years old in Edmonton at a festival, and
Yeah, you sent it to me. I love it.
I
It's
know, I know.
awesome.
I'm
It
just kind
makes
of
me
sharing with
happy.
everybody. That was a bit of a trip to see that one. Um, but yeah, here we are. So I want to ask you a little bit about your career. So the people who are watching this tend to be lots of young creators on YouTube. They're animators, they're musicians, things like that. Um, and I always like to ask the guests kind of how you got into art or music in the first place. So one, are you from Vancouver?
From Vancouver, born and raised. Yep. Um, it's a good place to be from. I feel like people when I say that they're like, "Oh, crazy! Not many people are from Vancouver, but everybody I know is from Vancouver."
You got to be born there.
Yeah, no, I was born and raised Vancouver based. And how did I get into music? I mean, I was in love with music from a very young age. I would say that like my first introduction to music was like '60s pop. That's what I really really fell in love with. Elvis Presley was kind of like my gateway, and then that opened up a whole world of like I used to, my parents and I would go on camping trips, and I would just remember kind of sitting in the tent or whatever, listening to just like these mixtapes of like '60s pop hits, and those are just all the best melodies that exist. They're so saccharine and awesome, and I learned a lot of harmony and melody, and I feel like pop structure from those songs, kind of accidentally. And then hit like grade 6 or 7, and I remember very distinctly. I was like, "Man, I gotta get current." Like all my friends at school are talking about bullet with butterfly wings, and what is that? I don't know what that is, but I think I should find out. And so I checked out the Pumpkins, and then from there it was sort of like an awakening of like um, 90s rock grunge stuff like Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day I was big into, and all of those other sort of associated acts. Um, and then I just wanted to play in a band, and so I started. I would rent 4-track recorders for a week at a time from Long and McQuaid, and make my own songs, and cover like Everclear songs and stuff. Yeah, then I guess I'm giving you the long version. I didn't mean to give you the long version. And then in high school, I got into punk rock, played had a punk rock band, and was always putting on all ages shows. Financed our records, took out a loan from the Business
For
Development Bank of
first
Canada.
band or for Said the Whale?
No, this is for a high school band.
Okay.
And yeah, so took out a business loan, made the record, pressed the record,
I've
like
always been
started like
terrified to do that myself. Dan Mangan came on here and was talking about how he took out a business loan as well for his uh, first album as Dan Mangan, and
mm-hmm.
that seems terrifying. So you were in high school and you took out a loan.
Well, so it was a Business Development Bank of Canada like young entrepreneur loan, and so I applied to like start a record label, and they gave me $3,000, and so we made the record, we pressed the record, like we put it all together in like my parents' living room and stuff, and we like promote the shows and sell the record at shows, and we still weren't recouped, and then our drummer's dad worked at a recording studio that did a lot of music for ad stuff, and got one of our songs in a TELUS commercial, and that paid well over what we owed.
Right.
And so we paid it all back, and so that was sort of like my first really positive experience with like taking out a loan and then paying it back. So it's like, okay, I got this, no problem, we can do this. And so after high school, I did a little bit of university, but I still wanted to be in the music industry in some capacity. So I how did it go? I was sending songs back and forth with Ben. Ben and I, from Said the Whale, had sort of done some kind of like acoustic home recording experimental stuff like after high school, and then I went off to university, and then I sort of met with a crossroads, and that was I'm either going to go off on an exchange program to Australia, or I'm going to stay in Vancouver, and we're going to like take a real swing at this like music thing.
And you were how old at that time when you were kind of like
21, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 or 21. And so obviously I made the decision to not go to Australia. And then I took out a real bank loan. The young entrepreneur one, no interest, very forgivable terms. Like I think if you defaulted on it, it was just kind of like, whatever. They tried, you're a kid. Went to like proper TD Bank, got a $10,000 line of credit somehow. I do remember the teller was like, "So what's your annual earnings?" And I was just like, $20,000 maybe.
Yeah.
And he was like, 60,000? Sounds about right. Yeah. And he like ticked it down. Yeah. He's like, "What are your assets?" I was like, "I have like a Dodge K car, it's worth $100." He's like, You have a car, great. It's worth $10,000, great. He was very, very helpful. He could probably see the fear in my eyes, and so we were approved for this line of credit, and that paid for the record. And then, yeah, we were able to recoup that, and that kind of started the band.
Wow, that's a cool story.
I know Dan's story. I think Dan's story is that he went and borrowed money from like everybody he knew.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then paid it back with a factor grant that he got like right before he actually started recording.
Yeah, I think he said was for his second record, and the first one he got a bank loan, or vice versa. But like the first two records, where he said were crowdfunded, by family and friends, and then the scary one to me for both of your stories is to go and get a bank loan, and it shouldn't be so scary, but to make music is
you either get it or you don't get it, and if you get it, it's awesome, and you have this money you can use, and if you believe in your product enough and you hustle hard, I mean, it's very motivating to pay back a bank loan, because they're actually fine with you not paying it back for a really long time, because they just get to charge you interest forever. So now that I think about it, it's not like a huge amount of pressure. It's just you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear that the occasional banker is let's say they were looking out for you. It seems like they were looking out for you.
They were. I got lucky big time.
Well, that's a great origin story. And so you were kind of playing music all the way through. And actually that reminded me partway through when you were saying your first like success commercially was to get in an advertisement and end up in a TELUS commercial. And that just reminded me that the actual very first time I heard Said the Whale was it was a juice commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it was like animated fruits, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So guess what? That's the same guy.
Is it?
Same,
I,
yeah. Our friend Matt, his dad helped us get that as well.
uh,
So he's actually like directly responsible for the early financial health of our band. He probably doesn't receive enough thanks for that, but when I look back on it, yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a big moment for us.
That commercial. I remember before Shazam, I was googling like, what is the song in this commercial?
Yeah, well, there used to be message boards. I think there was like adtunes.com, and you could
Right.
like go on the message boards, and people would like recreate versions of them, and be like, I don't think I know it.
Okay, that kind of transitions me a little bit into my second career related question. So I would say it looks to me like you've had a really long, healthy, super successful career in the Canadian music industry, in the international music industry. Um, where do you feel like, um, I don't know, when did you kind of stop and reflect and you're like, whoa, we're like really doing this? It's a real thing.
I don't think I've done that
You
yet.
haven't done that yet? Okay, we're still
um, I'm half joking when I say that. I think that like oftentimes I'm able to step back and feel grateful for the people we've met along the way who have helped us, and the listeners who have passionately supported us, um, and all of the different factors that have led to us having a career in music, which is a difficult thing to achieve.
Mhm.
At the same time, we've never had it easy. We've never had like an overnight success story. We've never um, we we don't make a ton of money. We kind of just we get by. It's very blue collar, and I don't say that the money stuff in like a weird complaining way. It's just like it's a very blue collar job. You work and you get paid, and you have to work really hard, and you get paid a little bit. Um, and so it's never been like, okay, like sweet, now I can just like relax and like
Yeah,
look back at this empire that I've built, and wow, I've really made it. It's more just like, okay, like whew, just like made it through that zone. Like, what are we gonna do that's gonna be creative and gonna be awesome and exciting for us and exciting for listeners, and gonna like improve sales and improve ticket sales. Like, what can we do next to keep our career alive and keep it exciting and keep people coming back? Because yeah, we're a working band. We tour as much as we can. We're not total road dogs like a lot of other bands are, but um, we work as hard as we can in every avenue that we can, and it's sometimes actually hard to find the time to look back and reflect, or find those like pauses where you feel like you deserve to look back because you just
right.
have to always be going.
Yeah, yeah. There's no time. There's no time to really sit still and reflect.
Yeah.
But hey, actually, now there's a lot of time to do that. But we were chatting just before I hit record here, and you were saying to me that you have two young kids, so you have a family there in Vancouver,
Mm,
um, and COVID is obviously a thing we're still dealing with
sure is.
almost a year later. Um, how has this last year been for you? So, presuming you had at least one of these kids more than a year ago, maybe you're still on full time dad duty. But yeah, how is this affecting you personally? And then we'll talk about professionally too.
Yeah, I would say that like I'm pretty sure that when I look back on this whole COVID time, I'm gonna really appreciate the time that I got to spend with my family in such close quarters, and it's gonna feel like this magical time, where I was at home more than ever before. Um, so that's like my rose colored glasses,
Sure.
and then the reality is that it's been really intense. My kids are 1.5 and 4.5, and it's just kind of like full on all the time. Because I'm obviously working from home. I do have this studio that I can escape to sometimes, but my partner is also working from home and she needs time to work. And so we kind of just trade off whenever we can. Childcare has been very limited because of, grandparent interactions and things like that. So definitely envious of, when I hear other artists saying like, "Oh boy, it's cool that we've had so much time to write." Hey, it's like, "Oh my god, I wish it hasn't been like that for me. That's not been my experience." Um, but Yeah, I think I mean, it's been a challenge. It's also fun to be met with challenges
Mhm.
in general. I find I
Oh,
like.
it's been a fun challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a positive spin
No,
on
sure.
it. Obviously, I think that like it's really easy to just like fall into a pit of despair, and I have fallen into pits of despair throughout this for sure. There have been really dark times, but for the purpose of your internet show, I don't want to be like the sob story. We've all heard the sob story, so I think it's more important to publicly focus on the positive things, and you know, one of the things that has been awesome is watching people rise to the challenges that they've been faced with, and watch them adapt and watch them change their business models. And I think there are a lot of things that are gonna be lasting, certainly in the music industry, that come out of this. So I think probably in the end, yeah, it's been like the shittiest year, but there's going to be a lot of silver linings that we can focus on as well.
That is a refreshing attitude to hear. I have to say, and I'm not saying, this show or whatever. I'm talking to people on this show who are sad. Like it's just it's very easy to be and stay pessimistic right now, and
For sure.
especially in the music industry to go or entertainment industry larger to be like, well, when are people going to be comfortable coming back to being live crowds and masks are always going to be a thing and limited capacity, and are we always going to be watching these numbers? Um, so it's really nice to hear that there's some optimism out there. Maybe my last question for you, and then I'd love to trade a song back and forth with you, and then we might leave it there after that. But
Sure.
I want to ask you, as somebody who's maybe a little bit more tenured, so Said the Whale. For those of you who don't know,
Tenured. That's nice. Thank
I
you.
would say tenured. I would say it's not like you're. I'm not. It's not like, oh, you're an old band. It's just like you're tenured. You guys are well established. It's staying there. Nobody's challenging Said the Whale's spot in the world ever. Which is, I think that's the goal.
Well, I want people to challenge the spots. All there are a lot of bands challenging our spot. That's nice of you to say. Somebody called us. What did they call? Somebody called us a legacy act the other day.
Okay, well
It's like, okay, that's a bit intense. We're still like making records. We're still making records. Anyways,
okay. Well, good to know that you're still making records. I was gonna try to squeeze in there somewhere to talk about your most recent release, which I think the album was
that
Cascadia.
was Cascadia, but that one's done. We're making a new one now. Yeah,
Oh,
we're 6 songs into the new record.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that was another thing we did during COVID, was make an album. Or,
And I just want to ask. So I saw you're
oh,
with
sorry.
Crafts now. No, it's about your production process. Are you producing these things at home? I see you got a bit of a setup here behind you. Like,
Mhm.
are you self-contained production effort?
No, we're not. Not in the way that that a lot of bands in the year of our Lord 2021 are. Um, and though I love those acts. There are so many specifically younger acts, and older too, who are basically self-sufficient and can make their own records, and that's so incredible, especially right now when the value of recorded music is like arguably at its highest it has been in a long time. It's like the one revenue stream you that actually exists, because obviously touring doesn't exist. But no, I mean, I do a lot of demoing in this space. By the way, I am using a wide angle lens, and so it looks like a really large space, but I can almost touch both walls with my hands.
It does look wide.
There's one side, there's the other side. It's like 8 feet by 9 feet.
Okay.
It's very, very small.
Important shit.
um, yeah, I call it the old dirty bike shed. It used to be the bike shed that was behind the house that I live in, and then I was granted permission to turn it into a studio right around the time that my first son was born. So, anyways, I do a lot of demoing here, and we do keep a lot of the sounds that I get here. I mean, on Cascadia, a lot of the vocals I did here, and guitars and stuff were recorded here. And then we usually hand it off to somebody who's more experienced in the production zone, and the mixing zone. And for our record right now, we're actually doing it all with Steve Bays from Hot Hot Heat and Mounties. And yeah, that's been an awesome experience.
Cool. We have tentative time for the new release?
We're gonna start putting out singles, I think, in March of this
Oh,
year.
cool.
Yeah, and then just yeah, kind of go song by song and feel it out. The full album A isn't done, and B I think will be a little bit of a moving target just because of COVID things, but the fall would be nice.
Yeah,
Not sure, totally.
same. I'm at the same spot. We're at about 5, 6 songs in the second record, but um, we're having problems even just getting together to record it, and
Hmm.
the remotely learn to record things is a whole new hurdle, and we're kind of always like, well, can we wait 2 more weeks and meet together again? So
Hmm.
tricky time. And yeah, I was gonna ask you about just kind of your take on all this COVID stuff, but really, you seem like the band is optimistic. You're optimistic, and I kind of want to just leave it there. It's nice to have it's nice to have
Sure.
refreshing, some refreshing intake on that, and yeah, I don't think we're all doomed. I think we'll be okay. We can get our streaming revenue, we can get our ad placements, and we can continue making records.
Yeah, I think people will be fine. I, having said that, I do think it's important for people to remember that the system in which we're all making and releasing music isn't set up to provide um, proper compensation for artists.
Mhm.
So, um, while it might be easy when things like whatever go back to normal, if you want to call it that, um, just kind of like, okay, sweet, like we got touring back, like let's just put our heads down and like get back to the way it was. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that people remember that that without touring, there's kind of nothing else, and so um, that there might be more reason to push for changes in things like streaming compensation and just sort of the way that release strategies are structured and business deals are structured, and just find a way to make sure that creators are compensated fairly so that if something like this ever does happen again, um, people aren't left in such dire positions, and also straight up so that they can be compensated properly because I think stripping away that one thing that was representing such a large portion of people's income made it very clear that it was a system that isn't properly set up.
Absolutely. Um, well, you clearly have your thumb on the pulse of all of this as a tenured act
Barely.
from Vancouver. Super cool to hear your take on this, because yeah, I was curious because you've sort of been through these handful of different eras in this ultra digital compressed time of, we're streaming, we're not streaming, we're downloading, we're touring, and now we're in a pandemic. But I want to be
What's
respectful.
next? What's next? Bring it on.
Actually, what's next? I want to be respectful of your time here, and I was hoping I could get you to play a quick little half song, a new tune, anything like that. If you still have a minute here.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do it. I'd love to do a new song if that's cool.
Sure.
Um, I'm just gonna. You might want to edit some of this out. I'm just gonna make sure all my sounds are right. I gotta get my guitar. So just I'm gonna go dead for a second here.
Sure. Today I have the option of editing it. It's handy.
That feels louder than it was last night. But yeah. Okay. Is that good? Does that sound like
That's
music to
great.
you?
We got a mixed sound in here. Usually we're just like into phones. This is great.
Nice. Okay, what I'm gonna do actually is I'm just gonna take my earbuds out because it's kind of a short cable, and I know that I'm here and I can hear my guitar. It's acoustic, so I'm just gonna take the earbuds out and then I'll bring them back in.
I'll give
um,
you hand signals.
yeah, nice. So this is a new song called "99 to the Moon." It'll be on Say the Will's new record. Here we go. You and listen to something that no one likes, 'cause you like the weight of the world sometimes. 99, something about us just feels alright. You've got your problems and I've got mine. Feels like the weight of the world sometimes. But I love you to the moon and back again. I love you to the moon and back again. So don't you look at me with those big bad eyes and walk away with them. I love you to the moon and back again. You and I pounding the beat on our chests all night, 'cause you like the way that the kick drum flies. 99, singing aloud on the bus at night, 'cause these are some words you can get behind. I said slow down, but you stayed all night. You stayed all night. You stayed all night. I love you to the moon and back again. I love you to the moon and back again. So don't you look at me with those big brown eyes and walk away with it. I love you to the moon and back again. You and I making decisions that no one likes, but I can see you in our daughter's eyes, dancing alone in our room at night, watching our loved ones go on with life. Friday night, but I feel alive. My heart is pounding like 99, and it feels like a kick drum inside my spine. And we danced all night, and we danced all night. I love you to the moon, back again. I love you to the moon, and back again. I love you to the moon, and back again. I love you to the moon, and back again. So don't you look at me with those big brown eyes, and back again. I love you to the moon, and back again.
Whoa. We gotta get-
Okay, I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, that was awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. I've been going to your concerts for years. Still got it. Sounds awesome.
Thanks, man. I couldn't hear how it sounded because I was just in the room doing it, and normally I'm monitoring it with like my big headphone cans, but I didn't want to be on your show with big cans over my headphones, and then as soon as I saw your show, I was like, fuck, should have done it. Should have done the cans.
Just there's a whole lot of the whole like everything gets taken down a notch when it's just internet streaming. You can just be,
I know. I was trying to be subtle with the earbuds.
it's very TikTok style of you.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna duet you into my microphone here. Are you on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok yet.
What is wrong with you, man?
Are you on TikTok?
You know, but I'm 35. You're 26. What are you doing?
That's the difference. Is okay. Well, I'll get on TikTok.
You should get on TikTok.
I was actually thinking about it last night. I've started working on claymation. I'm trying to make a claymation music video. I'm sort of, setting the music down for a second while I can't really work on too much at the moment. And I thought it'd be really cool to make little claymation TikToks.
That's awesome.
I need to figure it out.
I mean, look, I think TikTok is really cool. I think that the number one thing that people TikTok is like truly exposing your personality at its very core. And I think that so many people will just spend like hours like crafting like the perfect song with the perfect lighting or like whatever it is they're doing, trying to make it like super perfect. And then like, okay, is it going viral? Like, does everyone know how long I took making this video? But really, it's the videos where it's just people just like being themselves and saying something interesting.
I
And
think that's music and social. I think that's music, comma, and social media at large. I think that's all
true.
of this stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, to keep doing it and keep unraveling, however, the new social media tells you is the format is a pretty tricky thing to do.
for
But
sure. But also, I love your claymation idea because I also, having just said what I said, there is also there's a niche for everyone. And if you find the people that are just like super stoked on claymation, you're gonna find them and they're gonna love it. So
I'm far from a pro, but I agree with you. What's tough these days is to step out of your little depression bubble for many of us, but not for you. We're staying very optimistic these days.
oh no, it's a fucking struggle every single time to step out of the depression bubble when you like are in a career where you can't work. So make no mistake, it's been a struggle,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that I also think about what I'm putting out onto the internet on your show. I want to try and exude positivity and to give somebody else the energy to do it. And I've watched a lot of artist interviews in these times, and the ones where people get really dark, it doesn't make it better for me.
Right.
So
Well, I appreciate it, and so do the viewers, and it's a good attitude to hold on to. Well, normally I'd play a song as well, but
no, do it. I want to hear your song.
you want to hear a song as
Yep,
well? Okay,
totally. Yeah, it's not really fair if I play one and then you don't play one, is it?
you're the guest here. I kind of just wrote it in that I play on my own show. So.
Well, I mean, that's just marketing 101, my friend. Has to be done.
Okay, I'm gonna play one from my first record. This one's called "Morning Dreamers."
I'm going to mute myself so that I don't step on you.
Okay. You just had reverb and everything. Anyway, this is Morning Dreamers. This is from my first record. Morning singers, lucky little sleepers, coming together. I hope you hear us. Starry Gazers, it's only getting later. Let's spend a few together in the morning. Striking down, striking down, striking down, high on the bleachers. Wake me up, shake me up, shake me up, morning dreamers. Do-gooders, yeah, all good for nothing. I'd sing it all again. Just know one thing. Don't you worry. Yeah, you best believe it. We'd sing it all again. This city needs it. Strike me down, strike me down, strike me down, high on the bleachers. Wake me up, shake me up, shake me up, morning dreamers. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la. I lost my mind in the morning. little short and sweet one today. Uh-oh, Tyler's frozen. Well, I'm actually not sure at the moment if Tyler's here or not. This might be an internet issue on my end, unfortunately. Oh no. What are the odds? Hello.
Did you freeze? Did you just freeze?
I must have frozen.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah,
how much we caught or didn't catch?
it got like almost if you just finished the song, it got all it was like 15 seconds. Just missed
Oh
the end of the song.
no.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if maybe I was frozen, and I
No,
didn't
I
want to
just
like.
noticed the little Wi-Fi thing up in the top corner of mine.
Okay, nice. Well, we got most of the song, and then it's me looking confused and worried for like 15 seconds while you are frozen in the middle of the song, and then it's this.
That's okay. We'll just cut to this.
No, no, no. I think you need to leave it in because it's super 2021, and I love it. And that song was awesome, by the way. I really like songs where you can like, you don't need production or like any other instrumentation to know what the production and instrumentation is gonna sound like.
Well, that's great. That's a big compliment. I'll
Like
take.
I'm imagining there's sort of like a
Yeah, we went for bossa nova ish.
totally,
Ish.
yeah, yeah, which was awesome. That made me really wish it was summertime and I was like wandering down the street at Taste of Edmonton Festival or
Oh wow. Throw it
whatever.
back. Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thank you for indulging me, even though the internet didn't want any of it. But hey, thanks again, Tyler, for your time. We really appreciate it, and I hope we can see each other in person someday, and if not, hopefully virtually again.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen sometime. We're gonna hang out after a show. I can't wait.
Okay, I'm riding your optimism for the next year. So
Yeah.
thanks again. I'm going to turn off the recording here. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you same time next week. Sorry this one wasn't live. Tyler's a dad. We gotta make things work. We want to have him on the show. So next week we will be back live. See you then. Goodbye.
Thanks everyone.